Hi, I'm David from Test Qube, and in total I've written over 3,000 digital SAT reading and writing test problems. Over the last 2 years, Test Qube has helped more than 500 students get a score of 750 or better on the digital SAT reading and writing section. Today I'm going to share with you a certain skill that I've seen among all students I've helped that have scored either a 790 or 800 on the digital SAT reading and writing section. Memorizing vocab, not making silly mistakes, approaching questions in an efficient order are all skills that are important on the DSAT. But to surpass that seemingly insurmountable threshold of 700, there is one skill that's needed above anything else. And that skill is scanning. To put it simply, looking for either a word or phrase. Depending on what the question it is asking, it's pivotally important to be able to find exactly a certain section of a text quickly to be able to answer the question. However, scanning can be either a piece of cake or quite difficult depending on what kind of question is being asked. So let's look at a variety of questions starting from where scanning is relatively easy and then build up to where it is difficult. Okay, so in this first problem, we have a situation in which we're asked, according to the text, why are ecologists worried about panda? In this case, our task is easy. Simply find in the text where they mention the ecologist being worried, or a synonym of worried, in a particular sentence. Looking at the second sentence, we can find the words, ecologists are worried that its growth is declining in part because of grazing by animals. So, our answer should either include diminished growth or grazing. Looking at the answers, we immediately see A matches precisely what we found. Not too bad, right? Okay, let's level things up. Now looking at a question that requires more comprehensive scanning skills. Okay, so here we have a claim question. In general, with claim questions, whether they are either qualitative or quantitative, we want to direct our attention to the claim. 95% of the time, the claim is in the last sentence. This can save you a lot of time. Here the claim reads, Barboza and Trezos claim that this behavior reflects strategic decisions that enable rural women to increase their profits per unit sold. Okay, so you can see that though in the claim we have the words this behavior, meaning we need to consult the previous sentence to find what behavior they're actually talking about. What behavior are they talking about? It's that rural borrowers miss payments more often than urban borrowers because, in part, they sell less frequently than they could. So here we have a situation in which rural borrowers miss payments but they maximize profit. How can this be the case? So let's turn our attention to D. Reading D, we see D reads, the cost to rural entrepreneurs to bring their goods to town with marketplaces is high but largely independent of the number of goods they bring. Okay, so we can see if the cost is independent of the number of goods they bring, they are essentially minimizing cost and therefore maximizing profit, given the fact that profit equals revenue minus costs, by carrying all their goods in one go, even if it means missing payments. Let's go through one more example to solidify this skill. This time we're looking at a question from Test Qube's upcoming 5 test that will be released soon. So, let's first look at what is the question actually asking. The question reads, which finding, if true, would most directly support the researcher's proposal? Okay, so, putting our scanning skills to the test, we can immediately direct our attention to anything in the passage that looks like a proposal. We find in the second to last sentence, it says, using L minor to track pesticides levels could serve as an effective replacement to testing on animal species like the European carp, and being more ethical and cost-effective. Here we have keywords. Minor could serve as a replacement to carpiel, and that it's more ethical and cost-effective. Let's look through the answers for anything that says minor could act as a replacement and is superior in some sort of way. Voila! We're met with A as a compelling answer. If L minor can detect small amounts more efficiently than carp, it's a strong reason to replace animal testing and is likely more cost-effective and ethical. Today, we went through the strategy of scanning. To get better at scanning, consistent practice is critical. The way to get better at scanning is grab a friend and take turns asking each other to find a certain word that you already found in a passage. If you do this gradually, you'll see your score increase a lot over time. And that concludes today's session on scanning. If you guys need any help whatsoever, tune in, like, subscribe to our channel, where you can find other videos on important SAT strategies and tips. Good luck!